I hate this person, but I'll just take this person just for the lack of it, man. Russell Westbrook, why not?
Russell
Put him there on my
Westbrook.
guard.
Hey,
Yeah,
look.
I hate this person, but why not?
Hey, yo. Hello and welcome to the Friday, February 18th edition of the TV on Basketball podcast with your host, TV. Hope you're having a fantastic day. Thank you for clicking on to watch or listen to today's episode. And man, do we have a special one here today. But before we start, I have to plug my other platforms. Remember to follow TV on Basketball on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok for updates on the podcast and for other great content. If you're on YouTube, remember to like, share, and subscribe. Plus, hit the notification bell. That would be highly, highly appreciated. And for my podcast listeners, remember to subscribe and leave a review if you're on Apple. As for our Spotify, Anchor, and Podbean listeners, just continue to show your support in any way possible. I highly, highly appreciate it. And for the first time ever, we have actually multiple guests on the show. We have 4 guys on the screen right now. We have both members of the Hoop Talk podcast here today, Ryan and Jalon. Say what's up.
Yo. What's up, everybody?
What's up? And of course, we have a regular on this show as well. We got Critical Condition Sports, aka Joe. How's it going, my man? Welcome back on the show.
What's up, everybody, man? All good over here. All good here.
Yeah, this is going to be a dope episode. And like I said, I've been teasing it for weeks. We're going to have a special episode because it is NBA 75. We're going to be doing something special like an NBA all-time fantasy draft. Yes. And in this draft, we're basically going to be picking players from the NBA 75 list, creating our 12-man rosters, and basically trying to make a case for our team to be the best here. It's All-Star Weekend. This is when the NBA 75 is going to be recognized. It's all that good stuff. We're going to be paying homage to all of the great players that made it to the list. Before we get into this episode, I do want to let these guys talk about what stuff they got going on. I want to start off with Joe here. Joe, first time back on the show. Let's update you. Let's update the fans. What have you been doing as of late?
Man, everything's been good, man. Been covering more MMA events. Got some great fighters coming up on the show over the next couple of weeks, man. I got Cody Steele, Josh Frank. We just earned a UFC contract. Shout out to those boys. I already got them on the show, so that'll be coming up in the next couple of weeks out here. I got some UFC peeps coming on as well, but I cannot announce it yet. Ooh. They're holding me down toward it, but when I announce it, just follow the Instagram account. You'll be able to get those updates there. I lost a bet. Did a shoey, catch it on the March 2nd episode there. That's when I'm going to release it, folks. It sucked. Definitely don't recommend it. And then for updates on that, just follow again the Instagram page at Critical Condition Sports. It's definitely a fun experience.
Yeah, bro. Tui Vasa just knocked the crap out of Derek Lewis as well. You got it. This guy's up and coming. This guy's got next in the heavyweight division. This guy's going to be an
rank number 3 now.
Rank number three. This guy's going to be an absolute monster. It's going to be interesting to see if he gets to go up against Ngannou in the future. That's going to be a pretty fun fight to watch down the line. Of course, all of his links are going to be down in the description in my link tree. You know all that good stuff.
Oh, yeah.
The Hoop Talk Pod. You've got a lot of announcements going on. I know we had Jalon here last week. He was kind of teasing it, but now it's been released. What's going on with you guys?
Yeah, man. Ryan, go ahead, bro. Like I said, I teased it last week. You can go ahead to do the honors.
Oh, man, 3 big things have happened with the Hoop Talk podcast. 1, we've released merchandise. You guys can go and get that at the Hoop Talk Podcast merch.com. We also have made a Patreon page as well. And then we also have a bunch of sponsors and affiliates. So those are the big 3 announcements that we just revealed on February 14th.
Yeah, that's crazy. You can check all this stuff too. Just check out their page. They've released so much stuff. The Patreon, like they said, the merch stuff. Check out their page. It's all really dope. Of course, just gotta try to help support in any way possible. It's all their links are gonna be down in the description. Of course, in the link tree, you know all that good stuff. And they, of course, have the dope content coming out at the Hoop Talk Pod as well. But getting into this draft, this is gonna be definitely a fun one. The rules of this draft are as followed. It's gonna be a snake format draft. So whoever has the first pick in the first round gets the last pick in the second round. And of course, that means, 2 get the second last pick and all that good stuff. Kind of like a fantasy draft. There's going to be 12 picks. Any of the picks can be from the NBA 75 list, which I believe we all have in front of our screens, plus 1 wild card. So anyone not on this list that you want to add to your team, remember, this is the best version of themselves. You can add them to your team as well as part of your picks. And of course, we can't go too long. I know we like talking. We all have podcasts. We love talking, but we got to keep the picks to 24 seconds. We can't give these guys too much time. And yeah, it should be a really fun episode. There are so many great players in NBA history. We get to talk about a lot of them today, past, present, future. Who knows who we're going to add to this team? Should be a really fun episode. And as for the order, we determined this right before the episode aired. We got the first pick going over to Jalon over here. He's get the pick number 1. Knowing that he's a Chicago Bulls fan, I kind of have a feeling where he's going to go. We got number 2. We got Joe. Number 3, Ryan. And I myself have the 4th pick. But that means I do have the first pick in the second round. Should be a fun one. Again, continue to show your support. This should be really fun. This is releasing on All-Star Weekend. Should be a really awesome episode. Gentlemen, are you ready to get into this draft?
Let's do this.
Sir.
Let's get into this. Okay, starting the timer on number 1 overall pick. We are going to Jalon. 24 seconds on the shot clock. Jalon, who do you got with the number 1 overall pick starting now?
Yeah, man, you already know the vibes. First of all, undisputed GOAT in my eyes, along with the fact that he is a Chicago Bulls. Great on top of everything. I got to go with Michael Jordan, man. Easy number 1 overall pick.
Easy pick number 1. I mean, we don't have to go too much. It's Michael Jordan, freaking 6-time champion, Mr. 2-3-peats. He was definitely going number 1. Easy pick for Jalon over there. Let's move on to number 2. Let's not waste any more time. Let's go to Joe. Number 2 overall pick. Joe, who are you going after?
Now, I will note this, that even if I had the number 1 pick, I still would have picked this person. Got to go with LeBron James, man. LeBron James would have still been my number 1 pick. I think that I'm not going to go ahead and do the LBJ and MJ, debate, but I think LeBron James is one of the greatest players of all time. Easily number 2, could rival number 1. Easy. LeBron James.
LeBron James going number 2. We kind of expected this to go, Jordan 1. The order, of course, could go either way, but LeBron going number 2, of course. Just a quick survey before we move on to the next pick. Jordan or LeBron, you don't have to go actually into detail. Just shout out who you got.
Oh, I got Jordan, man.
Jordan? Joe?
I got LeBron.
LeBron? Ryan?
I go Jordan.
Jordan? I have Jordan slightly, but I do think LeBron does have the chance to take over. But yeah, of course. I mean, you can go either way. These guys are some of the best players of all time. That is LeBron James going number 2. Pick number 3. We have Ryan here. Ryan, pick number 3. Who are you going to go? The 2 GOATs are out. Who are you going to pick?
I'm going to take the next best thing, Kobe Bryant, one of the greatest Lakers of all time, one of the greatest guards of all time, one of the greatest players of all time. His accolades speak for himself.
Kobe Bryant. Kobe Bryant is now off the list. RIP to the Mamba, man. I mean, people like kind of like when you think of kind of just great players, you got to talk LeBron, Kobe, and Jordan in the same conversation. Kobe is pick number 3. So LeBron, Jordan, and Kobe are gone. No one had any problem taking those picks, but I got pick number 4. Let's get into this. And I'm down to 2 people. I'm going to go with I think I was going to go with a big man. There are 2 big men I was going to choose between, but I need to get myself the greatest point guard of all time. Give me Magic Johnson, man. Give me Magic Johnson with the 4th overall pick. You already know this guy, the best, in my opinion, the best point guard of all time. I don't know how other people feel about it, but I think that someone that could just lead the team, all that good stuff. Lakers legend. I mean, he says that Kobe's the best Laker of all time, and I can't be too mad, but Magic Johnson is going to be my first player chosen on this list. But I do have back-to-back picks, though. I do have back-to-back picks, which is pretty crazy here. So Magic number 1. Number 2, I have about 17 seconds left. It's again these 2 centers. Or do I want to go? You know what? I'm going to throw a third curveball. One of my favorite players of all time. Let's go Tim Duncan. Let's go Tim Duncan with my second pick here. Magic and Tim Duncan. You got defense on the inside. You got Magic on the outside, dishing to him. I want to get at least one of my favorite players in here. Give me Tim Duncan with my second pick. And we're reversing back to Ryan, who chose Mr. Kobe Bryant first. Who you got with this pick?
I'm going with his Lakers teammate Shaquille O'Neal, one of the dominant duos of the 2000s. They could have won 5 rings if they stayed together. So I think that's just the perfect duo in my eyes.
Kobe and Shaq reunited. What do y'all think? Do you think they can make that work again? Do you think like in this day and age?
I think so, man. I think so.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, Kobe and Shaq, they're both back on the same team. Ryan is reuniting them here. And that was his second pick. Let's move on to Joe, who took LeBron with his first pick. Joe, 24 seconds on the clock. Who are you going to choose to pair up with Mr. LBJ?
Man, I really want to check, but I'm gonna go with Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Got I want a big man. I need a center.
Yeah, for sure.
One of the best ones.
One of the best players of all time. Of course, number one in regular season scoring, but just got passed by LeBron for regular season and all-time score. And like, I think it's like regular season and playoffs, like all-time scoring. Yep. I think LeBron just passed him. I mean, it feels like Kareem is the number 3 like best player of all time. I want to hear what you guys think. Is he like number 3 on your list, but like with a bullet, or do you think like you have someone else there? Because it feels like LeBron and Jordan are number 1 and 2, but Kareem, I don't know. Like, do you have him as like with a bullet number 3?
That one's tricky. I think for me, I think it interchanges like on a regular basis. Every time you have the debate with somebody else, it feels like that third name. You can easily be convinced of somebody else being thrown in that hat. So I gotta say that's an interchangeable one.
Yeah, for sure.
Tough
Ryan.
One.
Ryan,
yeah, he definitely deserves to have his name thrown in the hat. He was one of the top centers of his generation, and he was also one of the league scorers in the NBA before LeBron ended up breaking his record.
Yeah, Joe, what do you think? Do you think he's like number 3? Number 3?
6-time MVP, correct?
Yeah, 6-time MVP.
Pretty solid. Was it like a 19-time All-Star?
Yeah, I think he has the most. I think he has most All-Stars of all time, right? Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely a top 5, top 3. I mean, tough, right? There's other players that you want to put in there, but yeah, still, I ain't gonna argue that. I may not have all this crazy basketball knowledge like some of the guys that are on here, but I think he's at least top 5. I think you can definitely talk me into putting him at 3 or 4.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I'm on the same page. I have him number 3, but I could definitely see the argument for other people. Kind of like my guys in Magic Johnson, like my guy Magic Johnson as well. You could definitely put him there as well. So Kareem Abdul-Jabbar goes to Joe for his 2nd round pick, and we're bringing it back to Jalon, who has back-to-back picks here. Who do you have as your 2nd round pick?
Yeah, man. So the first guy I gotta get him off the board early before he gets lost in the fray and end up losing out on him. I gotta go with KD, man. You can put him next to just about anybody. Crazy scoring ability. Obviously, you put that man next to Michael Jordan, it's gonna be insane amounts of buckets. It's gonna be some really crazy offense taking place. And honestly, you know what? We're just gonna go for my 2nd pick for this one. I'm gonna just go with his former Warriors teammate. Get this man out the way too, man. Stephen Curry. Obviously, I think all the offense at the top of the board is going to be ridiculous. I'm all about buckets. We'll get to the defense as we get into the later picks. But right now, you got the outside game of Curry. You got the crazy drive game, crazy above the rim game of Michael Jordan. And you got a guy like KD who, no matter who we put on the floor, he is going to be a perfect puzzle piece around those guys.
This guy's going modern with his next 2 picks. I mean, this guy's going like both current players, KD and Steph Curry, both picks in rounds 2 and number 3. I mean, there's still like a lot of like top guys on the board. Like, do you think he's trying to pander to a bit to the audience, trying to go with the modern picks guys? Like other guys, you think he's trying to go a bit too modern?
I would think so. Jalon's keeping it modern. I mean, I think I don't want to spoil anything for my lineup, but I'm gonna go very old school on mine.
Okay,
just for the people, man. Just for the people,
Yeah, no, we respect. So Steph Curry, KD are off the board. We're heading back to Joe now, who picked LeBron James first overall, took Kareem with his 2nd pick. Joe, who do you got for pick number 3?
I'm gonna go modern, man. I'm gonna take the Greek Freak. Add some size there.
Oh, ooh, add
some size there. You Kareem. You get Giannis there, and then you got LeBron there. I think I like what I have there. I'm gonna stick with the Greek Freak before anyone else snatches him.
You know what? That's kind of filthy. Not gonna lie. I mean, the shooting, the shooting is questionable though. The shooting is
the shooting's questionable, but man, I want defense, man. I want defense. I want guys that can protect the rim.
Yo, you're not gonna lie. Good luck to any of us trying to score on that freaking front 3. Jesus. So Giannis Antetokounmpo, the Greek Freak, just recent NBA champion, is off the board. Heading back to Ryan, who has the pick, has the Shaq and Kobe duo at the moment, but now has the 3rd pick. Ryan, where are you heading?
Give me Reggie Miller. He's the 2nd greatest shooter behind Steph Curry. I mean, if you watch his highlight mixtapes from the 90s, he showed you how efficiently he can hit the 3 and also how he can get under people's skin. I mean, he literally got into a fight with Kobe Bryant once.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Yeah. Reggie Miller off the board. I mean, like, I don't know about you guys. That feels kind of early to get Reggie Miller. What do you guys think?
I mean, look, if you got to get some shooting in your lineup, I mean, he's definitely pretty big right now in terms of what he's got so far on the board. So, I mean, hey, if you got to get a little bit of shooting, get the second best shooter while you got the chance. Not too mad at it.
Yeah, Joe.
Not
I
too
mean, what do
mad
you
at it.
what do you
Points
think?
matter. Points matter, man. Points matter. I mean, defense is solid, right? But
Yeah.
points is what wins you the games, and more than anything, points and offense attracts people, right? Because you got to think about it too, man. You got to sell some tickets too.
Yeah, no, for sure. Reggie Miller is off the board. Second greatest shooter of all time. That's also an interesting debate, especially with Ray Allen still on the board. I get my back-to-back picks now. And honestly, there's some players here that I thought didn't expect to be here this late, but I'm going to go with them now. My first pick for my back-to-back picks, I'm taking Larry Bird. What? Larry Bird is available in the third round. Yo, I didn't want to go this. I didn't want to go this throwback, but I got to take him while I can. Someone who could still honestly dominate today's game, in my opinion. Someone who is an elite defender, which some people fail to recognize. A great shooter who I think if he's put in this era, obviously he's going to shoot a lot more threes. And the fact that I have him, Duncan, and Magic Johnson on the same team, oh my goodness. That is definitely a crazy, crazy front court for sure. So I'm going to take Larry Bird, Celtics legend, over there in my third pick. And now my fourth pick, the 24-second starts back up. And it's tough. It's definitely tough. I got a couple of guys I could go with here. Guys, I have a bit of time to talk here. I was thinking of going modern with Kawhi Leonard, show my Raptors some love. But I think there's just too many great players here that have not been chosen yet. And I don't want to go too much throwback, but I'm going to go another throwback here. Give me Hakeem. Give me Hakeem Olajuwon to go with that setup position. You're not scoring on Tim Duncan or Hakeem Olajuwon. None of your teams are, especially with them up front. Then you got Magic and Larry running the offense. I didn't want to go to this throwback, but if you're gonna leave me with these guys, I gotta go with them. Give me Hakeem with my first pick in the fourth round. My team's looking nice, yo. My team is looking nice. Let's throw it back to Ryan though. Let's throw it back to Ryan. Let's see what we got here with his fourth round pick.
Okay, so I'm debating on filling my point guard position and filling my power forward position. I'm going to go with point guard. I'm going to go Steve Nash, one of the greatest playmakers of all time. He can hit the three. And I would love to see him set Kobe up for shots. I would love to see him alley-oop the ball to Shaq. That would be amazing.
Yeah, Steve Nash going off the board. Honestly, in my opinion, one of the most underrated point guards of all time. And I do think this could spark some good debate because this guy has both Steve Nash and Shaquille O'Neal on his roster. I don't know if there's going to be a little beef there, that MVP back in the mid-2000s. I don't know how I feel about that, Ryan. I don't know. What do you guys think? I mean, like, the back-to-back MVPs, of course, Steve Nash. But do you think that he was like that? Do you think that, like he kind of stole one for Shaq?
Oh, yeah. No, for sure. And the other thing is you mentioned the beef. It's hilarious because Shaq brings up that lost MVP at least once a season in terms of the fact that he felt as though he definitely deserved that one and he got robbed. I definitely agree. One-time MVP for sure, outright in terms of Steve Nash. That second year of the back-to-back, I don't know, man. He might have just got a lot more love than he might have deserved, bro.
Yeah, I mean, no, for sure. I mean, Ryan, how do you feel about that?
Yeah, I definitely feel bad for Shaq because I think in 2004 he should have won the MVP. He had a great season that year. But I'm really excited to see what this duo can do together.
Yeah, no, honestly, like, not gonna lie, it'd be pretty dope to see if I could put this in a 2K simulation and see who wins in a freaking thing versus all of us. I think that'd be pretty cool. Who knows?
He still brings it up.
He brings it up all the time, right? I swear,
God damn.
Yeah, he brings it up a lot on inside the NBA.
Jesus.
He's still salty to this day. I think it's the same thing with LeBron in that I think like that defensive player of the year from like Marc Gasol. I swear he brings that up once a year as well. LeBron does. So, some people are kind of salty about that, but Steve Nash, that is a fantastic pick going in the fourth round. We're throwing it back to Joe, fourth overall pick. He has a pretty solid squad over there. Let's see who you're going to choose for your fourth round pick.
Gotta go modern, man. I'm gonna go with Dame.
Damian.
Yep.
Damian.
I need my point guard, man. He's one of the most coldest people I've seen play, man. Clutch, dirty shots, filthy shots when you need them. I need a guy that can score.
Yeah, no, that's a damn good lineup. You got LeBron there. You got, of course, Giannis. He's going modern. But Dame, honestly, for the modern game, Dame Lillard is that point guard that you want on your team. So yeah, Dame goes in the fourth round again. Someone I wasn't expecting to go this high, but we're going bold. We're trying to make our team the best possible. So Dame goes to Joe. Throwing it back to Jalon here with his 4th round pick. Let's see who you're gonna go. Who you got in your 4th round pick?
Yeah, man. So I got 2 guys coming up. I'm gonna fill out this front court a little bit. I'm surprised these guys haven't come off. This one in particular, I can maybe there's one in particular I can understand maybe why. But this other guy, I'm gonna get him why I've got him early. I'm gonna go with Wilt the Stilt, man. Like that dude. In terms of talking about the front court area, being able to have a legit front court shot blocker, have somebody who can run the floor, super athletic around all these other guys. We got the shooters, but we also got we have 3 guys at the guard and forward position. If you talk about Kevin Durant, who all can facilitate for the guys around him, I think Wilt Stilt, man, he's a different animal.
Yeah, Wilt, man. I mean, again, when I was picking between Hakeem and someone, that was the other person I was actually debating between. I think Hakeem is a bit more skilled in terms of a big man, but Wilt, obviously, one of the most dominant players, honestly, even athletes of all time. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but he's like one of those guys that I wish that I got to see in person, because he like all the stories, all of these like crazy stuff, like I hear about him. I just want to see like how it was live, because apparently he was like a super athlete.
Yeah, man. And that was the thing. Going back to your pick for Hakeem, dude, like that was the thing. Like if it was Hakeem and Wilt for me. So when you said Hakeem, that's why I got the sighing and putting my head down, because I'm like, oh man, the fundamentals of a guy who's got such a motor like that is big time. The next guy that I'm going to pick, though, hopefully should make up for that motor a little bit too.
Yeah. I mean, like, I don't know if like, what do you guys think? I mean, freaking these Wilt stories are crazy. I mean, apparently he had like a 40-something inch vertical and stuff like that. I mean, do you even believe this type of stuff? I mean, it's like the 60s and all that. Like some of this stuff just seems fake.
Super track star, superhero, Michael Phelps level swimmer. It was ridiculous, bro. He was Anthony Edwards before Anthony Edwards on paper, bro. For real.
For real. I mean, the other guys. I mean, Wilt. Do you think have like any doubt that like this stuff like even like actually happened with Wilt? Like in terms of the other people who hasn't like spoken yet.
What was that?
No, like Wilt. Like, do you think like all those like freaking like stories about him like being like this ultra athlete? Do you like believe it, or do you think like it's cap? I mean, you can make up anything. It's the 60s.
I mean, in the 60s, I mean, the 100-point game had to have been real, because that's just a game that no one else has been able to replicate. But then again, you think about like the era, like present day and back in the 60s, and how Wilt was basically like every other team was basically just outmatched against Wilt.
Yeah, no,
he was a savage.
I guess that's like one way to put it. That is one way to put it. Well, Chamberlain is off the board. Let's move on to the 5th round. Jalon, you have another pick here. You took Wilt there. Who do you got with this next pick?
Yeah, man, filling out the front court with some more high energy, some more run and gun, but a guy who can at least step out a little bit, give my man Wilt some space down low, but still be very active around the basket. I'm going with KG, man. Crazy front court defense going on. Whole lot of shot blocking going on. But the thing is, KG can stay out of Wilt the Stilt's way. When it's time to be like a freight train to the basket, my guy's KD, my guy Michael Jordan, my guy Wilt, if they're going to the basket, my guy KG can stay out the way, but at the same time, he's going to crash the glass.
Filthy front court there with KG and Wilt Chamberlain up front. Again, I mean, this is like some of the greatest plays of all time. This is the NBA 75 West. You really can't go wrong with any of these guys. They're just absolute like monsters. Great players to have on your team. We're throwing it back to Joe for his pick in the 5th round. Let's see, who do you got adding to your team?
I'm gonna take Allen Iverson.
Allen Iverson.
Gotta take. I always watch some of his highlights, man. He's always just fun to watch. Again, might be a little biased here, but somebody that I can put as the number 2 there with Dame. I don't know how he would team up with Dame, and I don't know how they would get along, but I need guys that can score right now. So I'm gonna go with AI.
Underrated defender as well. I mean, this guy is like, I think like what's like the steals champion a couple times in his career as well. This guy just knew it again, the passing lanes. It's a very small backcourt, not going to lie, though, with him and Dame, but I think that's still going to be hella fun to watch. Allen Iverson taking in the 5th round.
Gotta get some offense, bro. Gotta get some offense.
Yeah, you got to score. You got to score. It's going to be tough on these teams, though, because defense is definitely killer here, but definitely great pickup there with Allen Iverson. Ryan, you got the next pick here. Who do you got in the 5th round?
I'm surprised this guy's still left on the board. Scottie Pippen.
I was debating, man. I was debating between the 2.
I was debating on him and somebody else on the list, but I just need somebody who can do it all on both sides of the floor. And Scottie Pippen, one of the greatest players of all time, I'll just go ahead and say one of the more undervalued players too on a championship caliber team, especially when you consider that the Bulls have 6 rings, not only because of Jordan, but also because of the contributions of Scottie Pippen.
You know, 100%. This guy could do it all. And trust me, Scottie Pippen thinks he's undervalued as well. I mean, the amount of times that this guy has talked after the Last Dance documentary about being underappreciated, underloved. This guy made a whole book. Talking about how he's underappreciated. I mean, Jalon, as a Bulls fan, I mean, this like rift between him and Jordan came out of nowhere. Like, what are your thoughts on, Pippen kind of like just going off on these tangents?
Bro, me and my dad laugh at this crud every time it happens because you can tell. I mean, there's actually even a montage on YouTube. Like, for example, like his beef with Jordan. There's a montage on YouTube that every year since 2014, he's bounced back and forth between LeBron James and Michael Jordan being the GOAT. If you go and you check out his track history, like in terms of being asked about the GOAT debate over the last couple of years on national television, he has snitched on himself multiple times by in one breath saying that Michael Jordan is the GOAT undisputedly. And the very following year, even sometimes a couple months later on a different show, he'll say LeBron James. That's how committed he is. It's one of those things where at the end of the day, he knows how he got in the position that he is currently in as a multi-time champion. But he cannot help himself but to try his best to throw digs at Jordan the best at any given opportunity, man. It's honestly kind of annoying, but hey, man, it's good TV, I guess.
I mean, what's crazy is that, I mean, like, I'm assuming I don't know if everyone here watched the Last Dance documentary. I did.
I didn't.
You didn't watch it. I know, but I mean, basically, I think Pippen was mad that it wasn't a Bulls documentary, it was a Jordan documentary, even though we knew it was a Jordan documentary.
I took that personally. I remember that one, that meme, and I took that personally.
No, honestly, I don't know what. No, Pippen's kind of like off his rails though. But yeah, Scottie Pippen, great choice there. I'm up on the clock with my 5th round pick, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm not a fan of my spacing at all on this team. I got like 3 non-shooters, including a non-shooter in Magic Johnson, but they're all freaking like Hall of Fame level talents. Do I go with talent here, or do I go with someone that fits the team? I'm gonna go with someone that fits the team. Someone took Reggie, someone took Steph Curry, someone took Dame for all the shooting. I'm going Ray Allen. I'm just gonna go Ray Allen with there. I just need some spacing in my team there, especially. I mean, Larry Bird could shoot. I could trust him with that, but I need someone just know the role. Ray Allen just knows his role in this lineup. He's gonna just knock down threes for me. He is my 5th round pick. Let's take a quick break here. We have our first 5 picks. Let's go to each person. Let's discuss like what type of team they're getting. Jalon, how are you feeling about your team so far?
Yeah, man, I'm feeling pretty good. I think probably with these next couple of picks, next 2 or 3 picks, probably I'll try to focus on guys that I can interchange out of that starting lineup. Obviously, Durant, Wilt, Garnett, crazy length, a whole lot of verticals between Durant, Jordan, and Wilt as well. I mean, peak of their powers, I feel like this is a pretty good lineup. Obviously, Curry is the outlier when it comes to the defensive end, I think, and even Durant to a certain extent, I think his length will make up for that. But yeah, these next couple of picks, I'm gonna try to focus on guys who maybe I can interchange a little bit here and there in that starting lineup.
Yeah, for sure. Joe, how are you feeling about your team?
Good. I probably need to get some better size there from my guard positions here, but I like the backcourt I have. Still think that they'll be good defensively, and I still think that these guys can get some points for me.
Yeah, all these teams are pretty crazy right now. They all look absolutely fantastic. Ryan, how about your team?
I'm looking pretty good right now. I like the 5 guys I've chosen. I basically just want to see how they will make an impact on the floor together.
Yeah, no, their teams are going crazy right now. And of course, my team, I got some talent there. I like my entire team as a whole. You know what? I'm feeling really confident about my team. As we get into these next picks, round 6 to 12, let's get it started. Let's start with my pick, which I get the first pick of the 6th round. 24 seconds on the shot clock. Let's get into this. Lots of choices here. Lots of choices still. I was thinking of going a bit more modern, and I think I'm actually going to go modern here. You see the flag in the background there. This guy is a 2-time Finals MVP, someone who can rival Scottie Pippen for being one of the best two-way players of all time. Give me Kawhi Leonard. Give me Kawhi Leonard over there to be off my bench. He can score. He's athletic as hell. One of the best perimeter defenders in NBA history. Of course, the claw with the massive hands. He is going to be my 6th round pick. Yeah, crazy player. He's on my team. Ryan, your next pick, 6th round. Who you got?
I'm going to go with the original triple-double king. I'm going to go with Oscar Robertson. It just seemed like he could do it all back in his day. And like I said earlier, I want guys that can make an impact. Oscar Robertson was the triple-double king before Westbrook overtook him in that honor.
Yeah, no, 100%. Oscar Robertson, chosen in the 6th round for Ryan's team. We move on to the next pick. We got Joe, and it's here with his 6th round pick. Oscar Robertson is picked in this round. We got Kawhi Leonard picked in this round. Who do you got next?
I don't know how crazy this is, but I'm going to take Dirk. I like watching Dirk play. I enjoyed watching him play. That guy, man, for a big guy, man. I love how I like this jump shot. I like how he was able, like Kawhi can get you a bucket when you need it. I thought to me, Dirk was clutch.
Dirk, 100%. And honestly, I've got to choose Dirk because I was hoping he would kind of slip to the next round. One of my favorite players of all time, watching someone I used to watch ever since I was a kid. Dirk Nowitzki, off the board here in round 6. Jalon, you have the honors of going for back-to-back picks here. Round 6, round 7. Who do you got?
Yeah, man. So first off, I gotta go with new school version of the Phoenix Suns. I'm gonna go with that man, CP3. Man, I need a setup guy in all of this. We got a bunch of scorers, but I need a guy who could set up the table, make everybody a little bit better around them, and be a guy who can kind of step in and just watch all the madness happen. Right? We got all these athletes. We got the shooter in Curry, who is a danger the minute he crosses midcourt. But like I said, if we got ourselves a supreme facilitator now, I mean, sky is the limit. And then with the next pick after that, I'm going to go old school Phoenix Suns and get one of the best overall 4-men at the position, hands down. Doesn't get the kind of credit that he probably deserves. I got to go with that man, Charles Barkley, man. The round mound of rebound. We got all types of offensive buckets over here. On top of the fact that we are definitely going to be hard to get past in the paint. You talk about Wilt, talk about KG, talk about Durant. And then obviously, although Charles wasn't known as much as being much of a rim protector, definitely big on the offensive and defensive glass, definitely going to create a lot of possessions for us. And if that's the case, like I said, we got the buckets to make the best of any possession that we get.
Yeah, I mean, Charles Barkley, taken down over there. Honestly, he's becoming underrated in my opinion. Like, no one talks enough about how great Charles Barkley was. He won an MVP in a time where Jordan was dominating the league. That's all you gotta like talk about in terms of Charles Barkley. The fact when Jordan was dominating the league, he still won a championship over him. I do want to get your thoughts on this though. Apparently, over I think a few days ago, Charles Barkley said that his the TNT contracts of him, Ernie, Shaq, and all them, they're gonna expire in a couple years, and he's looking to retire after this. I mean, how do you feel about that? I know inside the NBA has been around for forever now. How do you guys feel about kind of him thinking about retiring after his contract's done?
That's tough, man. I mean, hey, the bright side is we got Draymond Green that was signed up as a partial time Turner Sports guy. Might end up taking that full time sometime soon, considering he's on the back of in his career too. I don't think he might say that, but I definitely think that the Warriors maybe have about 2 or 3 more really competitive years out of him before he might be on the outside looking in, of that kind of Turner Sports position too. And he's an interesting character, so I don't know if he'll ever be able to take the mantle that Chuck has as one of the more funny broadcasters in the NBA. But I mean, hey, at least we have some talent to look forward to.
Yeah, for sure. Ryan, how do you feel about possibly NBA TNT basically just they have a couple more years left?
Yeah, I mean, it would be the end of an era if Charles Barkley were to retire, because he's been such a big staple of that show, along with Ernie, Kenny, and Shaq. It's just going to be very sad to see him go.
Yeah, no, for sure, 100%. And honestly, there's something that I think all of us can attest to this. I mean, we've grown up on the Inside the NBA crew. We know kind of their antics and stuff like that, their analysis. They bring it all, man. One of the most entertaining crews. I know Joe isn't real I know he's a football guy, UFC guy, but this guy, this guy knows the inside the NBA career. I mean, how do you feel about them? Like
2K, man. 2K, isn't it 2K?
Yeah, they're in 2K as well. Yeah, I mean, how do you
yeah.
feel? How do you feel about them? Like a couple more years left, basically, of that.
It's gonna change. It's gonna change. You watch the game, man. I want to know what they're gonna do to the video game, man.
Yeah, yeah. No,
I enjoy playing the video game, man. So obviously, hearing those guys on there, just like a normal thing, man. I'll rock out on 2K.
No,
every once
sure.
in a while. There.
Yeah, but I don't know how I feel about this new crew though. Like the Tuesday crew, I don't know how I feel about D Wade. Like D Wade. Who's is that the guy? Like I forgot the guy's name. Like the basically the Ernie. I forgot. I say
Lefko.
Lefko. Adam Lefko. Yeah, Adam Lefko. You got Candace Parker. You got Shaq. I don't know. I'm not really feeling that crew. I don't know about you guys.
I haven't heard him.
Yeah. I mean, like Jalon. I mean, like you see Tuesday night sometimes. Like, do you feel that crew is gonna can take over someday?
I mean, look, man. Like I said, it's gonna be a work in progress. It's gonna be one of those things. Ryan said it best. End of an era. It's gonna be one of those things that's gonna take a while to get adjusted to. But I mean, again, we've got some interesting commentators that have stepped up to the plate. Candace Parker has been on a couple of the pre games. Dwayne Wade, obviously, too. Like, there's. We've got people to look forward to, but like I said, I mean, one of those things is going to take a really long time to get adjusted to when you talk about an award-winning TNT crew. I mean, they have a documentary just around their chemistry on HBO Max, which is like a really great watch, by the way, but just kind of shows why they're the best in the business.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, he probably put it that best there. But let's get back into the draft. Let's get right back into the draft here. That was Jalon's 7th round pick. We're going to be throwing it back to Joe. 7th round pick. Who are you adding to your team?
I hate this person, but I'll just take this person just for the lack of it, man. Russell Westbrook. Why not?
Russell
Put
Westbrook.
him there on my guard.
Hey, look.
I hate this person, but why not?
Hey, the thing is, prime Russell Westbrook was that guy, MVP level player. I mean, I think it was, I think Ryan took the big O. Was it like you took the big O? Yeah. So we got Mr. Triple Double here now. Both of them have been selected, which is crazy. So yeah, Russell Westbrook.
I don't like Russ, but I'll take him. Why not?
Yeah, 7th round pick. Ryan, you got the next pick. Who do you have for your 7th round pick?
Okay, so I'm debating on who I want because there's so many people left. Give me John Stockton. I'm gonna need another playmaker coming off the bench, and I need a guy who can also hit some threes as well. Kind of like the same style of a point guard with Steve Nash, but I just want somebody who can play make and get some buckets for their own.
Yeah, John Stockton. I've heard some conversations like on like other sports shows about him being kind of overrated, although he does have most assists all time, well steals all time. But again, you cannot go wrong with him. I got back-to-back picks here. I took Kawhi here for my 2nd and my 3rd round. Time to go here. It's kind of like this one's definitely going to be a tough pick, but I need to shore up some. I mean, I got a lot of defense on the inside. I'm going to continue it here. This guy, considerable a top 10 player of all time. I can't believe he's still on the board after this long. I'm going to go with Mr. 11 rings. Give me Bill Russell. This guy's an ultimate winner. This guy, I mean, there's a lot of hate towards that era. There's only 8 teams and all that, but Bill Russell can be kind of that leader of my 2nd unit, which sounds super weird to say out loud, but yeah, I'm going to take Bill Russell there with my 7th pick. And then with my 8th round pick, again, another tough decision. I do have a couple of guys in mind. I have about 20 seconds left. I'm looking through it right now, but I think I'm going to stick with this guy. Give me James Harden. He can run the 2 or the 3, someone who one of the best, I think, in my opinion, one of the best 3-point shooters of this era, but it's just because he just takes a lot of volume as well. But this guy could do it all, has one of the craziest, kind of like just can score in any way possible. I got to go with the Beard, especially the best version of Beard. This guy was like top 3 MVP, like 3 or 4 years already of his career. So he is going to be my pick for the 8th round. Ryan, your 8th round pick. You got a nice team going on right now. Who are you going to choose here?
Man, give me Clyde the Glide. Clyde the Glide. King of the mid-range. Definitely needs some shooting in that area. I'm going to go with Clyde.
Clyde Drexler. I mean, again, one of those players in the 90s, like, just got overshadowed by Jordan, plain and simple, but this guy was an absolute monster in his day. and he is joining Ryan's team. Made to the finals once. This guy was a great player, but he also won a championship, I believe, with the Rockets, right? I think he won like one with the Rockets. Yeah. So yeah, he is an NBA champion as well. Going back to Joe got Russell Westbrook in his last pick. He is, I think, taller than both your guards, so that's definitely a start in terms of getting some size at your guard positions.
Forgive me, guys.
No worries.
Lord.
No worries.
No,
but
if
your
this
next
person's
pick,
already
who you got?
if this person's already selected, I'm sorry, but I'm gonna go with Dennis Rodman.
Dennis Rodman. No, he wasn't, but he.
Okay, cool. I'm just making sure. So
Yeah.
Dennis Rodman, man, that guy is a scary dude, man. Would never ever want to try to score on that man. That guy just brings a level of intensity, toughness, and I mean, I'm not gonna cuss here, but that guy don't give a you know what, man.
Yeah. And I mean, the thing is, like, we have like some of the best like bigs of all time here, of course, with Hakeem, Shaq, and all that. I feel like Dennis Rodman, even among those beasts, is still considered the best rebounder of all time. I know, like, of course, like Jalon knows about those Bulls teams. Do you share the same sentiment, or do you think like otherwise?
Yeah, man. I mean, one of the funniest things about Dennis Rodman was his head not being screwed on all the way on was part of what made our team so good. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Loose cannon of the squad. I mean, loose cannon of the squad, definitely not the most buttoned up guy, but neither was our team during that championship era either. So, I mean, he's one of those guys that came from a very buttoned up way of things with the Detroit Pistons to coming over to Chicago and kind of just having a party of a time and then showing off on the floor. So it's kind of hard to argue with the antics. You know what I mean? When he's doing his thing, giving you 15 plus boards on a nightly basis and being a lockdown defender. I mean, I'm looking at Joe's team right now and I'm like, yo, I don't know how much buckets he's getting right now, but I don't know how many he's giving up either. You know what I mean? Like it's a problem with all this rim defense. It's gonna be a lot of long distance jumpers you hoping to go in.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, Dennis Rodman, I mean, I like that he was chosen on the NBA 75 list for the pure fact that we don't have like this, like there's a lot of stats guys up here. Of course, they have a stats to back it up, but you got to have someone who's one of the best hustlers of all time on that list. And Dennis Rodman is just a perfect embodiment of that, representing the guys like, you know, like a Ben Wallace and like those type of players. He like someone like him being on this list, I think is absolutely fantastic. Honestly, I mean, it wasn't expecting it, but Joe, that is honestly like just someone to instill fear in the rest of these guys, Dennis Rodman. And he's only 6'6" too, which is absolutely crazy. But
that don't care, man.
No, he doesn't care, and he is on Joe's team. Jalon, another chance for you to go back-to-back picks. Pick 9, pick 10. We are almost done this roster. Jalon, who you got?
Yeah, man, got to stick with some of the unsung guys to kind of make sure that we clear this up. So I want to get one of the better small forwards in NBA history that doesn't get all the credit he deserves as well. Elgin Baylor, man. Overall, just full-blown fundamentals. He's one of those guys you're obviously not going to be able to find a bunch of tape on, but if you just go back and look at some of his crazy stat lines from a box score standpoint, the dude was doing everything. And, you know, it sucks because I think if I remember correctly, based on the way his career ended, I think he retired from the team right before with that Lakers squad right before they won the championship. Yeah. So just one of those things missing out of his legacy that would probably have his name brought up a lot more. But nonetheless, I mean, you can't argue with the production on the floor. And then the other guy I got to go with, he might not be a very high commodity compared to some of the other guys still on this list. I know there's still the George Gervins of the world and guys like that. But look, man, I'm gonna add to my defense, and I'm gonna get the guy that's gonna lock your favorite player's favorite player up, and that's gonna be Gary Payton, bro. I think that dude is a problem. His son Gary Payton II is one of the best perimeter defenders in the league coming out of the G League for the Golden State Warriors this season. But Gary Payton, if we're talking Seattle Supersonics, Gary Payton with these kind of athletes, along with the fact that he is one of the better perimeter defenders ever, the blueprint for why Tony Allen is one of the best defenders according to Kobe Bryant, the late great Kobe Bryant. He is the blueprint for Tony Allen. Yeah, man, gotta get that defense on my squad to be able to round out some of this roster.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I mean, Gary Payton, I mean, people talk about his defense. This guy had an underrated offensive game. I think this guy was still like a 20-point per game scorer, near 10 assist type of guy. He had an all-around game, but people obviously, I mean, his nickname is the Glove for a reason, one of the best defenders of all time. And Elgin Baylor, I'm glad you brought him up, one of the most underrated scorers of all time. And just sad that he didn't really get an actual championship with that Lakers team. Like, it was just a little too early, but he was a big part of, especially of their early years. And I said rounds 9 and 10 earlier. It's actually rounds 8 and 9. So 8 and 9, Baylor and Payton off the board. We are going back to Joe's team. We're going back to Joe's team. This team is definitely built pretty like interestingly, but it's also really like honestly like it would be like really interesting to see how they would play together. Joe, who do you got with your what's this 9th round pick? We're going deep in here now. Who you got?
I'm gonna take Jason Kidd, man. Why not?
Jason Kidd.
Let's go, Jason Kidd, man. Someone that can score for me there. Get me another guard there. Jason Kidd, especially with this team, wouldn't be bad coming off the bench either, man. I'm gonna go with Jason Kidd.
I mean, you said Saz at the guard position. This is. I think Jason Kidd was like 6'4", 6'5", something like that.
Yeah.
One of the best passers of all time. Again, we were talking about his team in defense. Jason Kidd, one of the better defensive guards in his era as well. It's going to be tough to score on that team, 100%. Jason Kidd is off the board. Ryan, 9th round pick. Who do you got on this one?
I have to go with Dominique Wilkins. Dominique Wilkins was one of the greatest centers of the 80s. I mean, his dunk contest with Jordan in 84 pretty much put the dunk contest on the map. And I don't think he gets nearly talked about. I don't think he gets talked about enough because of the fact that he just hasn't won an NBA championship.
Yeah, no, he was a crazy scorer back in the day, Dominique Wilkins. Even though his time with the Clippers, he was still like putting up some mad buckets. And it was crazy. Even like we talked about the NBA 75 list, on the NBA 50s list, he somehow didn't make it either, which is absolutely crazy. I think when me and Jalon talked about it in the first episode, like we were surprised he wasn't even on it. So I'm glad he got his due. He's on this list, and now he is joining Ryan's team, one of the best dunkers of all time as well. The human highlight reel, Dominique Wilkins. My pick now, and what's crazy about this is like I was hoping you guys didn't realize he's still on the board, but I think that this guy is one of the underrated GOATs, man. I don't think anyone talks about him in terms of like best players, especially of that era. No one took Julius Irving, man. Julius Irving is still on the board. I mean, I was like, how is he still on the board? This guy could get a bucket. One of the best dunkers of all time as well. Underrated defender. I think people just look at his 76 years and say like, he was good, not great, but his time with the Nets in the ABA, there's a reason. Like, I mean, him with the throw and everything, he was an absolute baller. I got to go with him for my 9th round pick. I was like, man, this guy's still on the board. Give me Julius, the Dr. Irving, man. He's coming onto the team. I do have a lot of wings, though. But I'm going to deal with that eventually. But now I got my 10th overall pick, and I'm going to put myself back on the board. And I don't know, man. I think I'm going to use my wild card here. I think I'm going to use my wild card pick at the 10th round. I know there's a lot of GOATs here, but I want someone that could fit my team absolutely perfectly. It's unconventional as well. I could go with a Doncic. I could go with a Nikola Jokic, but I'm going to pick someone basically Ray Allen light. Give me Klay Thompson. Give me Klay Thompson as my wild card pick going into 10th round. I just think that, again, someone who's not going to demand the ball. He doesn't dribble. We all know he just doesn't dribble, but he could still put 60 on your head while holding the ball for a total of 1 minute a game. Klay Thompson is that guy. I think he just fits my team perfectly.
Solid.
I could have waited a bit, but I was like, no, I have a feeling that someone's gonna like kind of catch on, use their wild card pick soon. I'm gonna be the first one. Give me Klay Thompson with my 10th overall pick, guys. Yeah,
I like it, bro.
Crazy.
Man.
But yes.
Yeah. But we're going to move on to Ryan's team. We have him with the 10th overall pick. Klay Thompson is off the board. The first wild card chosen. Ryan, who do you got next?
Okay, so I'm actually shocked that this guy is still on the board because not a lot of people talk about him as being one of the greatest scorers of all time. Give me Karl Malone. Karl Malone, one of the best players ever in Jazz history. I reunite the duo with him and Stockton. He also gets to the line a lot and grabs a lot of rebounds. I'm going to need more rebounding outside of Dominique, so I need some size there as well. So I think Karl Malone, perfect fit for the second unit. I can't believe I'm even saying that. The second unit.
Well, I mean, what's crazy about this is that, I mean, we all know it. I mean, I think even Joe, who's not really a basketball fan, we know what Karl Malone has done. We kind of know his history and all that. I think we just look at his name and go like, Karl Malone, and stuff like that. But he's still, I mean, number 2 all time scoring. And of course, Ryan had John Stockton. I mean, he's like, he gotta have to go with Karl Malone. It's only right. He reunited Shaq and Kobe. Now in the second unit, he's probably gonna have Stockton and Malone. Some of the best duos of all time, guard big men duos, and he is joining the team. Anyone have thoughts on Karl Malone? Anyone?
That's such a good pick, man. Honestly, like you guys are killing me because some of the guys I'm like, oh, I'm gonna sneak them. You guys are like, you know what? Let me get these guys right now before Jay gets his 2 picks. You guys are looking really good right now. I'm 0-2 for guys I was about to pick that I gotta switch off now.
I mean, that's what happens when you get deep into these drafts. But that is definitely a good pick. We are moving on to Joe now. Joe, with the 10th pick in your draft, again, you got 2 more picks from the NBA 75 list and also a wild card.
I'm using the wild card, man. I'm using the wild card.
Okay, wild card.
Dwight Howard. Dwight Howard. Again, Dwight Howard coming on here. Me and Jalon had a whole debate on this on like an earlier season podcast. He didn't make the list. I mean, Eddie, your thoughts? I mean, I think he was the biggest snub. I don't know about you guys. Dude, that guy, man. God damn, that guy is so damn good.
Yeah.
Especially like
I think
Dwight Howard.
If it wasn't Klay Thompson, it was him because of how dominant he was. If you look strictly at his time in Orlando, he was arguably one of the best defensive players of the 2000s.
Yeah. 3-time defensive player of the year. This guy was ultimately the best center in the league for like the late 2000s. And I think it's a crime that he's not on this list. Jalon, I mean, like he said he was like on your fence a bit earlier. I mean, what do you thought like when you saw him on the list? Just, I mean, the magic Dwight, man. Like, what do you think?
Yeah, man. I mean, like you said, we talked about it briefly. He was just outside for me. It was one of those things where it's just like, you look at the front end of his career, and it's hard to argue. Multi-time defensive player of the year, all defensive player multiple times as well.
Finals appearance.
Yeah, the finals appearance definitely helps, especially considering that he was the centerpiece of an Orlando Magic team that, I mean, you talk about Hedo Turkoglu, Jameer Nelson,
who was number
right?
2 on that team?
Probably Hedo. Probably Hedo,
Turkoglu.
yeah. So, I mean, when you look at that squad, like definitely not one of those teams that was like built like as a championship roster up front. Granted, they had a couple guys, Jason Richardson, another one too. Like they had some dudes, but Dwight Howard was just an animal. The only reason why I think he falls out of favor is, man, he started making a lot of stops, didn't he? I mean, golly, after Orlando, he was booking flights every year, it felt like. Yeah. I mean, we even had, wasn't there that year that
Houston, Hawks.
There was that year that he did but didn't end up on the Hawks, right? Like he got on the Hawks, but I don't think he played.
He was on the Wizard. He was on the Wizards.
Yeah, like it's just like he had so many pit stops post Orlando that I think he kind of like the front end of his career kind of gets washed away by some of the more recent stuff. But yeah, man, definitely one of those guys I felt like at least had a strong case to be on this list.
No, 100%. Yeah, Dwight Howard, man, he still shocked to this day he's not on the list, but Joe has him on his team again. Going with the theme of defense, it's gonna be tough. Bro. It's tough. It's gonna be. I'm just thinking of this team. And I'm like, goodness gracious,
may not be able to score, bro, but try scoring on the team, bro.
Yeah, no, for sure. Dwight Howard is on Joe's team. Picks 10 and 11 for Jalon here. We kind of screwed you over with a couple of these picks. You definitely have to make some adjustments. Where are you gonna go with these next two?
Oh man. So the first guy I gotta go with, there's no way he doesn't go drafted in these picks, bro. So I gotta get him out the way. I gotta get the man D Wade.
I was hoping he was gonna slip a bit.
Extra beastie, man. There's no way. I mean, I'm also a little light at the guard position, a little bit. I got CP, I got Gary, I got Steph and Jordan. But I mean, the thing is, as we get further down the list, and I know that sounds kind of egregious, right? Yeah. But it's like, truthfully speaking, like I want to continue to pack a punch on the offensive end as we get further along. Chris Paul, I have him being more of a facilitator for this team. Gary, I got him more as a defender. Need a little bit more offense added on top of that. I'm going to go with D Wade as that guy at the guard position. Then the other guy, I'm going to take it to the Wayback Machine a little bit too. I'm going to go with Bob McAdoo. TV, I showed that guy a lot of love when we talked about this list initially. As one of those guys, original stretch 4, a dude that when he was part of the Braves, he was an elite level scorer. This is a guy who was an MVP and ended up coming off the bench for the Lakers. So guess what? He's going to join another all-star team, come off the bench and be an absolute monster. I'm going to go with Bob. I think Bob is a beast, bro. I think he's a beast, and he's one of those guys that needs a little bit more credit in terms of being one of the original stretch fours. He's an OG.
I'm honestly kind of shocked with that pick. I just looking at you. I'm looking at the big men that are still available, and I'm like, damn, this guy with Bob McAdoo. I mean, respect. Just give some respect to the olden times, but I don't know. There's a lot of centers here. I mean, there's a lot of great centers like in general in NBA history, but man, there's still some names here. I'm like, if they're gonna go undrafted, Jesus, that's gonna be definitely
True.
weird. But Bob McAdoo and Dwayne Wade off the board, owing on to Jalon's team. Joe, second to last pick. You used your wild card in the last one. Who do you got with your 11th pick of this draft?
I'm just gonna go with AD, man. Why not?
AD.
Why not, man? Keep strengthening that backcourt, man. A lot of interchangeable pieces there, man. I'm gonna go with AD.
Yeah, I mean, he's a perfect modern big. He is the perfect modern big. Someone that could stretch out, someone that could defend the rim, and of course, if you're looking at prime AD, what was it like? What do you guys think? Is it like the Lakers championship year?
I don't know about that's tough.
Maybe that playoff run with New Orleans, the one where they took out the Trailblazers pretty quickly. I mean, him with Boogie along with Rondo, that team. I mean, that team was lethal, and AD was on one that whole year.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, AD. Here's again one of those players I was thinking about choosing, but it goes on Joe's team as well. Another ultra defensive guy, but this guy's also like in his prime, one of the better scorers in the league. Anthony Davis is off the board. Ryan, 11th pick for you. Wild card, one left, and you also got one more pick from this list. So who are you going with?
I have to go with somebody from Maryland, Carmelo Anthony. Carmelo Anthony. I need some scoring, and you know, when you talk about scoring, we talk about prime Melo with the Denver Nuggets, and his career in Denver could have been cemented a little bit better with a championship, but the accolades are there for Carmelo Anthony. Again, like I just did not understand why he was on free agency for so long before he joined the Blazers. I just don't understand. Carmelo has always been that guy.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, you got him on the Denver years where he made the Western Conference Finals. He also made the finals. I believe. Yeah, I don't think. Yeah, he didn't make the finals, but he was also like just great on the Knicks as well. Won his one scoring title over there. Carmelo Anthony. I mean, also someone who can like knock it down from three. Great choice there from Ryan. And now I have two back-to-back picks to kind of end my draft here. And I mentioned it earlier to Jalon. There are a lot of bigs that I feel like if we left one of them out, it's gonna feel super weird too as well. But I got a couple. I'm choosing between two bigs here. Do I want to go someone that could pair up with one of my starters as well, someone who was a former teammate of his, or do I want to go with again one of the most underrated players of all time? It's kind of tough between the two. I'm gonna go with the bigger guy. Give me David Robinson, the Admiral. The Admiral was still on the board, which is still kind of crazy to me that David Robinson's there. Won his one championship when Tim Duncan, I think, was a second-year player as well. Was a monster in his early days. He beat out Hakeem for that MVP that 1 year. And yeah, honestly, a fantastic big. And he is joining my team. Now, my final pick of this draft. I don't know like kind of where to go here. I want to get another guard, maybe another wing player. Someone honestly I could trust to kind of hit the three. Or maybe even get to like his spots. But I'm gonna go with someone who, again, I think Joe picked someone that he absolutely hated. I'm gonna choose this guy, even though I hate him as well. But I just think that he's someone that can like come in, hit his shots when I ask him to. He can be off ball. I don't want to do this. Give me Paul Pierce. Give me Paul Pierce. Give me Paul Pierce. I need someone who can shoot the ball. Someone who could do that. And then I just think that he looks at these other guys in the scores like, you know what? I'm going to stick to my role, hit the three ball. Not a bad defender in his day. Give me Paul Pierce on my team. Final pick of the draft. You know, that's where he belongs. Paul Pierce deserves to be the last pick of my draft, but you know, he fits what I want to do here. So yeah, final pick, Paul Pierce. Ryan, your final pick. I think you got a wild card left, right?
I still do have a wild card. I am going to go with James Worthy. I think when you talk about players in the playoffs, he is one of the greatest players in terms of playing in the playoffs. He was averaging better numbers in the playoffs than he was in the regular season. And he was helping the Lakers win championships.
Yeah, interesting. I mean, him and like Magic. I mean, freaking ruled the '80s over there. And I mean, for your wild card pick, I said you could pick on anyone. He's still stuck on the list. James Worthy is on Ryan's team. Crazy, good pickup there. Someone who could just do it all for your team. Joe, with your final pick in your draft, who are you gonna go with for your number 12 pick?
I'm just gonna go with another guard, man. I'm gonna go with Isaiah Thomas.
Isaiah Thomas, again, one of those players. I think they did, of course, the Pistons one, multiple time champion, was left off the dream team. Again, going back to the Last Dance documentary, Jordan kind of explained that, but Isaiah Thomas is always going to be in his feelings. And I think for years, he never really acknowledged Jordan as the GOAT. He's always been saying LeBron is the GOAT and stuff like that. So yeah, Isaiah Thomas is the final pick for Joe's draft. And I know, Jalon, I saw you kind of swaying there for your final wild card pick. Who are you going to go with?
Yeah, man. So I'm glad I still have a wild card left because I almost forgot that I had that pick in my back pocket. Give me D Rose, man. Peak of his power, D Rose. As the resident Bulls fan on the podcast, that I gotta get my double decker of legends. So I got my guy Michael Jordan. Give me the second prodigal son that is my man Derrick Rose. Peak of his powers, D Rose is a different animal.
Yeah, no, back in my day, he was my favorite player, like in the league. Like when he was at the peak of his powers when I was like a little kid, D Rose was that guy, man. He was absolutely fantastic. And he is the final pick, wild card pick for Jalon's team. That concludes the draft. All of us have crazy teams. I'm gonna go around. I'm gonna go first to kind of discuss my team. Also for you guys, pick up your team name, stuff like that. Kind of, and then we're gonna go around basically and give each other kind of like a, what's it called? Kind of like, what politicians do, kind of do like a last minute like promotion for our team, stuff like that. I'm gonna go around. I'm gonna start with my team. I'm gonna call this team, I'm gonna call this team Y'all Forgot. Y'all forgot, because I have a feeling a lot of these guys, you forgot about them on this team. And I think I got like a really solid team here. So of course, we got, for my first overall pick, Magic Johnson, best point guard of all time. We got Tim Duncan with the second overall pick, back-to-back picks. You cannot go wrong with that. Larry Bird there with my third pick. Him and Magic have been fighting their entire careers together. They're now on the same team. We got Hakeem with the fourth pick. Ray Allen, arguably the greatest shooter of all time. Actually, no, not really arguably, but arguably the second greatest shooter of all time. Ray Allen on the team. Got to show my Raptors some love getting Kawhi Leonard. Technically showing some love to Hakeem as well on the team. Bill Russell there with the seventh overall pick. We got James Harden as well over here. Julius Irving, one of the most underrated legends of all time. I do think like he needs to be talked about more. I think like a lot of these, I know Jalon was like really pissed that he couldn't get him on his team, but I got him pretty late into the draft, which is pretty crazy. Then I got Klay Thompson as my wild card pick in the 10th round. Again, someone kind of like Ray Allen, knows his role, shoot the ball. Just someone who can like fill it in that, like in one of those like positions in the lineup. David Robinson, best center in Spurs history, and Paul Pierce. But I still like my team. I still love my team right now. Team You Forgot is on here. I'm really liking it. Jalon, we're gonna start with you because you also had the first pick of this. What's the name of your team? And just give us like a little promotion, like why you think your team is the best out of all of ours.
Yeah, man. So I'm going to name my team the Knockdown J. First of all, obviously have to pay ode to the GM by including my name as part of the squad. But also, I think it pays ode to the fact that this team gets buckets, bro. Like, let's go through it. Michael Jordan, bucket. Kevin Durant, bucket. Stephen Curry, bucket. Will Chamberlain, bucket. Do I even need to give him bucket? The dude has the highest scoring total ever. Come on, man. Let's get out the way. Kevin Garnett, another guy who I think is a walking bucket, definitely at the peak of his powers was an elite scorer. Chris Paul, one of the deadliest mid-range players of all time, on top of the fact that he's the one actually going to be facilitating all this madness. Charles Barkley, a four that at his time was definitely an enigma as a dude with handling skills, could shoot the three, definitely had everything in his bag in terms of having the back to the basket. Elgin Baylor, one of the underrated buckets. We already talked about him a little bit earlier in terms of him being one of the best scorers of all time. TV, you did the work for me. Gary Payton, when rubber met the road, this is a guy you could definitely give the ball to at the guard position to go get you a basket, which sounds like the same exact thing I can use to describe Dwayne Wade, who literally taught LeBron James how to win a championship. I know that might be kind of controversial, but I feel as though that's true. I feel as though that's the truth. Bob McAdoo, ultimate bucket. Now, I do have to pay ode to some of these guys. There were a couple of guys that I didn't end up going with. David Robinson obviously was one of them that TV ended up going with. That was definitely in mine. Bob Pettit, another really good one that definitely kind of just got skipped over. Kevin McHale would have been a really good one too. I just went with Bob because I feel like he doesn't get enough love, and he's a stretch four. I love getting guys that can shoot. Then D Rose, man, come on. The dude has a song named after him. The dude is a walking legend in the flesh right now in the NBA. Just all types of buckets, bro. All kinds of buckets.
Team Knockdown J. Team Knockdown J. Love the team.
Sure.
I mean, you got buckets, you got defense, you got all you need on that team. Let's move on to Ryan, the other half of the Hoop Dog podcast. What's the name of your team, and just go through it? How you going to promote this to the audience?
I'm going to go ahead and say LBOE, a little bit of everything, because I think this team really does have a little bit of everything. You have scoring, you have defense, you have playmaking, you have playoff success. Yeah, you talk about two of the greatest duos of all time with Kobe and Shaq, and Stockton and Malone. You also have Scottie Pippen, one of the greatest two-way players of all time. Reggie Miller, one of the greatest three-point shooters of all time. Oscar Robertson was doing triple doubles before they were even famous. Clyde Drexler and Carmelo Anthony, mid-range shooters, great mid-range shooters at that. And then Dominique Wilkins, a player that can, get it done for you on the boards. James Worthy, a lot of playoff success with him. And, Karl Malone, one of the greatest players that never gets talked about. I know I mentioned him with my duo with Stockton and Malone, but just talking about Karl Malone as a player for a second, like at one point he was the second leading scorer all time, right behind Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. And even though he didn't win a championship, he's arguably one of the greatest players. Him and Dominique Wilkins, two of the greatest players to never win a championship. So I think this team just provides a little bit of everything.
Yeah, no, for sure. LBOE, right? A little bit of everything. That is team. This is Ryan's team over there. Then we got Joe's team. Joe, you definitely got like a crazy group of players there. Tell us your team. What's your name? Go ahead,
bro. I'm gonna go. I know it sounds kind of corny, but I'm gonna go with the defenders, bro.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go with the defenders, man. Because defense will probably more likely have to be the identity of this team here. I got LeBron James, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Giannis the Greek Freak. Then I got Damon AI, gets a little small there. Then I had Dennis Rodman, prime Dwight Howard, Dirk Nowitzki, my least favorite player, Russell Westbrook, Jason Kidd, Isaiah Thomas, and Anthony Davis, man. I like the squad, man, but again, it's going to be a lot of size and defense there that's going to guide this team to wins here.
Yeah. You know what? Hearing your team out loud, you can hear definitely some of the offensive guys there that's going to have to carry the team a little bit. And of course, you got LeBron James. You always got a chance there. You got LeBron there. That is a pretty great team. Yeah, those are the teams. I'm going to post it on social media, of course. Let me know, what do you think, who has the best team over here? Let me know down in the comment section below, on the Instagram post, all that good stuff. And before we head out, there's still some guys on the top 75 list here that haven't been chosen. You don't have to have something really prepared to talk about, but what are some guys here that you maybe were thinking of going about, but kind of are kind of like, you know what? That's crazy that they didn't make the team. I kind of start here. For me, it's kind of crazy that Moses Malone didn't even get talked about here. One of the underrated bigs of all time. Again, one of the rebounding kings. Won multiple time MVP, and he didn't really get mentioned much. He was definitely someone I was going to think about, but he didn't make it any of our teams. But do you guys have anyone else here that you're like, you know what? It's crazy that these guys didn't make a team?
I think one of the other interesting guys, Pistol Pete, man. Just for fun's sake, I felt like that would have just been a really entertaining player to pick up on anybody's squad. I mentioned Kevin McHale earlier as another guy, fundamentally one of the better bigs in NBA history. That's probably another really good one. And after that, maybe Jerry West or Bill Walton.
Walton.
Those are interesting ones too. I think those are probably like a handful. James Worthy at the very bottom of the list was an interesting one, but I think our squad's got some pretty good threes.
Yeah, I mean, and I think Ryan ended up getting him at the end there. So
that's
as wild pick, as wild card pick. So yeah, that's definitely some players there that didn't get looked at. Brian, anyone else you have to repeat anyone that we said or anyone else that you are kind of think wow, they didn't make the team?
I mean, I think you look at Patrick Ewing, greatest Knicks center of all time, another great player who did not win a ring. I mean, Nate Thurmond as well. I mean, he was the first player to record a quadruple double. He actually had 18 points in a quarter in one game. He was one of the premier two-way players before being a two-way player was truly a thing. I really used my wild card at all for this one.
Yeah.
One player that I really was thinking about getting was Manu Ginobili because of what his impact on those Spurs teams. Great playmaker. He could hit the three as well. But yeah, there's just a few of the players that kind of stood out to me that I almost chose.
Yeah. I mean, if you want, you can make the switch right now. You took James Worthy with your last pick. If you want to switch with Manu, it's up to you. But are you going to stick with James Worthy?
Yeah, I'm going to stick with James Worthy.
Okay. Yeah. But yeah, Manu is definitely a good one for the wild cards. Joe, anyone you see here and anyone you want to repeat this thing, to give your thoughts?
Anyone take David Robinson?
I know very last. Yeah, very last. I was like,
someone did. Okay,
good.
I was confused. Yeah, okay, there you go. Nah, I'm good on my end here.
Yeah,
these gentlemen talked basketball a lot better.
Yeah, that's all good. It's all good. But I mean, other wild cards that we could have went with, Prime T-Mac. No one really thought about Prime T-Mac. Yeah, that would have been a pretty crazy one. Prime Vince Carter, of course. Honestly, even current Luka or current Nikola Jokic could have definitely got some shouts there. But me and Jalon, I went Klay Thompson. It's just more of a fit type of thing. But Jalon, you got one of your guys in Derrick Rose.
Tracy McGrady, what about him?
Yeah, Tracy McGrady, right? Yeah, Tracy McGrady. Yeah. I mean, that's someone who definitely could have showed some love. But yeah, those are the teams. Again, let me know down below what you guys think of the teams. And I think this is where we're gonna end, basically in today's episode. Before we head off, I'm gonna let these guys talk about what's going on with them in the future. We started off with the Hoop Talk podcast first. I mean, we second last time, so they're gonna go first this time. What do you guys going on in the future?
Yeah, man. So just like Ryan plugged earlier, got the merch going, got a lot of stuff coming up moving forward. One of the main things in terms of the merch is I'm actually going to put together, me and Ryan are going to put together an all-star collection for All-Star Weekend this weekend. So there'll be a collection within the merch store strictly with stuff that is based off this weekend's festivities. It's going to be really fun. We got a couple of ideas already brewing. I got some stuff put to the side. On top of that, we already dropped one of what is going to be 5 episodes this week for the All-Star stuff. We've talked about the G League. We've got a couple of episodes coming out moving forward about women in sports, stuff about the NBA All-Star festivities, as well as, of course, me and Ryan making our own All-Star picks based off the pool that was given to us this year. I promise you, I will do everything in my power not to be the one that picks Andrew Wiggins. Nonetheless, yeah, man, it's a whole lot of really solid content coming up, bro. And I mean, TV, the season really starts after this weekend, man. The playoff push is where things get hectic. That's where things are going to get really fun.
Yeah. Joe, I know you're a football guy, but football season's over, man. It's time for the NBA to take over.
It is, man. It is time. I think they timed it perfectly with all Super Bowls last week. When's All-Star Weekend? This weekend?
Yeah.
Dude, they timed it perfectly.
100% and crazy over there. I think it's gonna be the time for the NBA to shine. I'm really excited for that. Joe, before we head off, what is some things going on your end?
Just check out for those interviews with Cody Steele and Josh Frem. Got some exciting guests to announce. Follow me on Instagram at Critical Condition Sports to get those announcements on there.
Great. And again, all of the links to the Hoop Talk pod, everything that they're going on right now, they're going to be in the description in my link tree, of course. And of course, I'm going to show Joe some love on the link tree and the description as well. Check out all of their stuff. They got some dope, awesome content. Checking them out. But yeah, this is where we're going to end today's episode. Thank you guys for watching. Remember to show love on all the podcast channels. Like, share, and subscribe if you're on YouTube and hit the notification bell, of course. Remember to follow TV on Basketball on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok for updates on the podcast and for other future content. I'm going to be back again next week to talk some more NBA basketball, which is going to be super, super dope. Again, thank you guys for all the support. Hope you have a fantastic day. As for everyone here, we're going to say peace. Have a great weekend. Enjoy All-Star festivities. Take it easy. Have a great one. Peace.